We were talking today, and you was making a statement, and you had said stuff like this before about the gut, right? And like how important that is. When I say the gut, I'm specifically mean clean gut, right? So you was making a point today about, you were saying something about uh, how your stomach, like you was trying to, sit ups and all that stuff wasn't working,
Mhm.
and the issue
Okay.
was inflamed gut, right?
Right.
So how does that play into health, though? I mean, like the whole idea of, because usually, like we was talking about today, when people think about health, we don't really think about the intestines and all that stuff, and that's kind of like, it's kind of like hard for a lot of the regular people to really get.
Right.
But I understand, but you know even more just how important that is. But how can we get to that place? Like what's a good beginning? What's a good beginning if somebody was wanting to pay more attention to the intestinal area? Now we're not neglecting nothing else, but
Mhm.
a lot of what we do neglect is that intestinal area.
Mhm.
So what would be a good
So,
beginning for that if we wanted to start cleaning that out? Water. How much water? I mean, how does that work?
okay, so wow, baby. I'm sorry, baby. Callie. I need you to write this down, baby. Our bodies are about what, 75% water. So I was I was I was telling Pepper this a couple of days ago. I think of our bodies like a towel. Um, and when we think about hydration, picturing saturation. So
Okay.
we need our bodies to be saturated. We need our tissues, our organs. We need to be saturated.
Mm.
Not just a little where we can put water on a on a towel, but the towel still not be saturated. The
Okay.
towel's gonna soak that water up. There may be a wet spot on it, but the rest of it's gonna be dry, right? But we
Hmm.
need to. But in order for us to use the towel, I'm talking about if we're washing something with it and we want the towel wet, we need to wet the whole towel, right?
Okay.
Same thing when it comes to our bodies is that they need to be saturated in order for them to even function properly. In order for them to move and be fluid, they need to have a certain level of hydration, which it begins at about 3/4 of a gallon.
A day.
That's right. A day, right? But okay, what I'm saying is that we can look at it in terms of as a daily intake. But what I mean is that at at 3/4 of a gallon, our body is hydrated, right?
Okay.
Once it gets below that, in whatever time frame, you know what I mean. Once it gets below that, then we're at a certain level of dehydration, right? Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
So
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, so we want our bodies fully saturated, and then when we have our bodies saturated, then they can move, and so our organs, our colon, for example, when we talk about the gut, we talking about the organs inside of our gut. We talking about our stomach, our small intestines, and our large intestines, um, or our colon. Large intestine, colon is the same thing. Um, the these organs being hydrated or being saturated is is imperative and vital to their ability to be able to function properly, right? So so when our when our organs are dehydrated and they're not working properly. If our colon and our intestines and our digestive system isn't hydrated properly, then our food isn't being digested properly. And if our food isn't being digested properly, it's not being removed properly. And if it's not being removed, then by default, it's backing up, right? It's being we're building it's building up inside of it,
Okay.
right? And you know, that's not an ideal situation. You know what I mean? Obviously,
So
but
now,
hydration.
now go ahead. Go ahead.
Basic. Go ahead.
No, I thought you was done.
I am. I will.
So hydration. So you mentioned the body. So look, I never thought about that. So you look at the body as keeping it saturated,
Right.
keeping your body inside of our body saturated. Now
Right.
you heard of Dr.Afrika, Dr. Leslie Africa.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. So I heard him say that sugar sucks moisture out
Right.
of the body.
Right.
That's one of the main things. And I noticed, and I want you to, if you would elaborate on that, but I noticed that, and when I would work out,
Yeah.
you know, you work out and you kind of feel a pump, right?
Right.
I eat something sweet, it's consistent. I would lose my pump. I would lose that every single time. Every single time. I don't care how good my workout is. If I started eating sweets, I would lose that pump, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that until I heard Dr. Afrika say that.
Yeah.
Because I know that our muscles are mostly water. Our muscles are mostly water.
Right.
So, but so anyway, so the whole idea of what sugar an idea of what sugar actually does in the body. We kind of talked about sugar, but we didn't go into this part. Why shouldn't we? What's the problem with sugar? I call it the devil. Why? What's the problem with sugar?
Well, when we talking about when we just say sugar, we talking about refined sugar. We talking about white sugar.
Right. Yeah.
Which is it's unnatural. So it's a chemical. So it's not just some natural thing from a tree. It's not just sugar from a cane. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're seeing when we see white sugar. When we see powdered sugar, we're not just seeing something natural. That is a man-made chemical. So there's starches in it. There's chemicals in it. There's binders holding it together. Holding that grain together are things called starches and binders. So that all of those things, I put it like this. All of those things, when they go into our bodies think that we're being poisoned. Right. And this is across the board for a when processed foods come in contact with the chemistry of our body, right? Our bodies think we're being poisoned. So our bodies our immune system is activated. Our body sends white blood cells to our gut area. It sends white blood cells to our intestine area to fight the infection that it thinks is going on there because of the foreign substances that we have introduced into our digestive system.
Which is sugar. Talking about the processed sugar.
Right, which is processed sugar, right? Or any processed substance that we put into our body. I'm talking about artificially processed with chemicals. So our body sends white blood cells there to fight off this toxic disease infection, this attempt to poison us and kill us. sends white blood cells there. That influx of white blood cells to that area is what causes swelling. It causes swelling and inflammation, and it causes and the white blood cells, they're fighting and doing what they have to do to neutralize the acids and the toxins in whatever they're fighting. They, through that process, they produce waste, and that waste is in the form of like mucus and pus and things like that, right? And so all of this stuff is in that area, and it causes swelling, right? It's an infection in that area, in our abdomen area, in our belly area. In our belly, there's an infection going on when we introduce these foreign chemically man-made processed substances. So what we end up having is overactive immune system activity, because our body thinks we're being poisoned. That results in a overabundance of white blood cells in that area, in the abdomen area, midsection, belly area, that causes swelling. It causes swelling and mucus and pus and gas and discomfort. And all of these are byproducts of toxins being released.
So your body is fighting.
Body is fighting.
Yeah.
The body is fighting to survive.
Mm.
And it creates this waste. Creates this waste, and it just stores there, and it backs up. It backs up again because we're not properly saturated or hydrated, and our waste removal system is not functioning optimally. So waste is backing up into our body, accumulating every day until it manifests itself. It manifests itself in something called disease. Right? Right? It manifests itself in the form of not even anything major, arthritis. Right? That's a manifestation of an overactive immune system. Right? That inflammation and the pain in the joints is from a buildup of toxins in our body, buildup of acid, right? That's now affecting our joints. So no part of our body is immune to what is going on in our gut. If our gut is unhealthy, if our gut and our belly are unhealthy, it absolutely will affect everywhere else in our body.
So that goes back to the main thing is water, right? I mean, you got the other things, but without this right here.
Well, the main thing,
mm-hmm.
along with water, I would say water would be like 1A.
Okay.
Because it would go along with the main thing. Mm-hmm. But one would be removal, would be stop making ourselves sick.
Okay.
Would just be to stop. Would be it's fasting. That's the fasting allows our bodies.
Oh, you said to fast.
It allows our body to fast. It allows our body to detox, to give. We're talking about our belly. Mm-hmm. Our belly, we're talking about our digestive system. Right?
Are you talking about like intermittent fasting, or just what kind of fasting are you talking about?
I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about to fast simply means to stop eating. Right? So whenever I stop eating, if I stop eating, I mean, how often do we eat, right? I know most of us we eat like all day long just because that's a habit. Like we eat when we're bored. Like we eat all day and all night long until we go to bed. You know what I mean? So if I do intermittent fast, if I stop eating at 6 p.m., right, and I don't eat until the next morning, I've done something. You know what I mean? that's better than me eating all the way up till midnight. You know what I mean? So like at the moment we stop eating, our bodies begin to clean themselves out. Our digestive system starts to clean itself out. Right? At the moment
Okay.
we stop eating. I'm sorry,
Can
go
I
ahead.
ask a question?
Sure.
Would that be?
What kind? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna ask. With that, you say as soon as you stop eating, is it determined on a specific time clock, or like is it just your body's clock, or is like would it be are there good hours to, like, say for instance, all right, when you say we don't like stop eating from 6 p.m. pretty much when it gets dark, right? Dark until the sun comes. Just don't eat unless the sun up. If we were saying it like that, but let's say what if my days are switched up where I, like, say for instance, I work nights and I'm up. I mean, well, like I'm up at night and I sleep in the day. So is it possible for me to switch my body's biological clock to accommodate for what you're saying? Like when you're saying the whole don't eat from 6 p.m., like say for instance, I'm up at that time. You see what I mean? Like,
Right. Absolutely.
right. So would it still, is it
Yeah, I mean,
necessary?
yeah, of course it's adaptable. You know, it's adaptable to our lifestyle because I mean, when we up, that's our active hours are our active hours. You know what I mean?
In my
So
opinion, I'm trying to ask questions for somebody that might watch this later. Just
yeah, yeah. When we're active, we're active. You know what I mean? And when we're active, meaning we're awake and we're not sleeping, then our body is doing more um, to metabolize or to burn off the whatever's in our belly area, in either our stomach, small intestines, or large intestines. When we're sleeping, I don't know if anybody ever noticed this or ever, when we eat something heavy and then go right to sleep, it's like we wake up in the morning and it's still right where it was when we laid down, like it ain't moved. You know what I mean? It's like, and so being up and being active, that's why we hear about taking a walk after we eat, is because it helps our body, helps our digestive system move that.
One thing I noticed, I'm just going to interject right quick. When you say that, I'm glad you. One thing I noticed was when I work out, my bowels started working. Like I could, like I go in there and
Right. Yeah.
if I go eat or whatever, and then in my workout, it's pretty consistent. Now I'm at work, I gotta go to the bathroom, But so it's interesting that you say that. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in because I've noticed that about my body.
a sign of a healthy
Well,
gut.
my question is about the kind of water. So I try to drink pH balanced water. Does it matter?
I mean,
Is that something we need to be concerned about?
it is something to be concerned about. It is. It's a real thing because there's a such thing as clean water. Like some waters are cleaner than other ones. Um, like okay, so for your pH balanced water, that's probably the highest quality water that you can get, right? You know what I mean? That's like the alkaline water is gonna be probably
Yeah.
the
So it's
highest
like
quality.
Core, Voss,
Yeah,
those kinds.
and
Those kinds. Yeah.
that's high quality water. So yeah, that's that will that'll absolutely work. But the thing is, for the person who only can drink tap water, it's like, I promise, drinking a gallon and a half of tap water will help the body.
Right,
I can say that from experience. I have hydrated myself off of the water that come out of the, out the little thing on the refrigerator. You know what I mean? And so, but I choose to drink spring water or try to drink clean water because there's a difference. But but anything is
So
better than nothing.
another question, and this may not be something you can even. This is interesting that you guys are talking about this because I was been trying to research a little bit of this stuff with gut health or whatever because I have a bunch of allergies, like, and bloating has become an issue because I shouldn't be eating gluten stuff anyway. But with my travel schedule, I can't, like, I avoid, and you guys may do the same thing. Like, I try to avoid drinking when I'm getting ready to get on a plane. I try to avoid drinking when I'm getting ready to be on the road, which that's all the time for me, right?
Yeah.
3 or 4 days a week, I'm either on the road or on a plane. So I tend to refrain from drinking water more than I probably should because I don't want to have to run into the restroom, and then with me coming in and out of elevations, I've noticed, it causes a little, the pressure changes is not good on your veins if you have not been drinking water anyway. So I'm trying to figure out, like, is it better to just overdo it a couple of days and then hope that hope that kind of helps with the, with me depriving myself in the interim. I don't know. It's that whole thing has been
Ray,
kind of frustrating.
Ray, I went on a road trip for Thanksgiving. I had to drive about, I think we went on like a 12-hour road trip, like up to Ohio. And so I had this would be my suggestion. This is what I did, is that because I didn't want to have to be pulling over, what I mean, all the time. Because when I'm drinking water
Right.
all day, like
Right.
I'll
Right. Yeah.
be going to the bathroom all day long.
Yeah.
But what I did is I just timed it. When we drive for 3-4 hours at a time, something like that. And so when I know, okay, we're gonna be stopping within
Stopping
the
for
next
gas
hour.
or whatever.
You know what I mean? Yeah. When I know we're gonna be stopping within the next hour, now I'm gonna start drinking water. You know what I mean? Because I still want to make sure I'm drinking it. And so, like, if you're taking a flight, yeah, don't load up on the, before you get on the plane, but while you're on the plane, like when you're about to land or so, something like that. Okay, let me go ahead and start getting this water in. When you're on the road and you're about to start. Okay, let me get some water in because we do need to get it in still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. I've been very concerned about that whole gut health thing because I know I've been doing. This has not been the way I've been handling that. It's not been healthy. So, okay,
Yeah.
thank you for answering my question.
Absolutely. I was telling Rodney earlier today that my biological father sometime last year had to have precancerous polyps removed from his colon, and they told him that that was hereditary, right? So it made me be more aware, right? And I one thing I am aware of is that diseases. I don't believe that diseases are hereditary. I think that our lifestyles we pass down our lifestyles.
Right.
Those
Right.
are how we develop the same diseases that our ancestors developed. But my lifestyle is the same as it's the same as his. It's drinking. Being a heavy drinker. Not watching what that kind of thing. And the alcohol. The alcohol is a real big factor with that. And so it just made me. I had to become more aware, of what's going on in my belly. Why do I feel uncomfortable all the time? Why do I always feel like I have gas? You know what I mean? Why am I always? Why do I have a pot belly? Why I got a poops gut? Why does my belly poke out like that at the waist right there? And it's not like jiggly fat. It's just like a swollen kind of vibe going on, energy going on down there. So what's up with this? And then I started doing research. Um, found found out about probiotics and prebiotics and things like that, and just the importance. I heard a gastro. Now this guy is just a regular doctor, just a regular physician. He was saying he never gets a flu shot, And he said the reason he never gets one is because he keeps his gut clean. He said he said that he takes a probiotic and keeps his gut clean, and he never gets a flu shot. And he never gets a flu. And this is a doctor. Uh, but
So
yeah,
water,
just a weird.
yeah. So water, water, because you're talking about a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna touch on water. Um, it actually is a big part of your immune system, right? Like just something as simple, because we're talking about drinking water, but one of the main benefits of drinking water, and this is kind of more of a question, like the main benefit of drinking water, one of the main benefits is it helps your immune system to be able to do what it's supposed to do to help you, to help fight off what it needs to fight off. Is that a correct statement?
I mean, that's a fact. Um, when it comes to water, man, it's like, and this is just me keeping it because I don't really like to sugarcoat stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but water is one of those things that it's like I shouldn't have to talk you into drinking water. You know what I mean? Like if like our bodies are made of water, that's what I don't think we really understand is that yeah we're we look like we know we made of dust, like we know that part that we made of the dust of the ground, but we don't understand how much of our body composition is water. You know what I'm saying? Like the ground sits in water. You know what I'm saying? So like we don't understand how big a part of us water is. And so our brains are over 75% water. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So it's just like to to function. It's like we wouldn't even think of making coffee without you. We wouldn't. Okay, I'm gonna make me some coffee, and we just go pour some dry coffee grounds in. It don't even make any sense. Like water is a part of coffee. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of us. There is no us. Like there is no us with animation without water. Without water, we're just dried up dust. We're just dried up dust
Yep.
without water. So, you know what I mean? It's there's no um, there's no amount of uh, incentive. You know what I mean? That can be attached to it. As far as the benefits of it, it's like this is the basics. You know what I'm saying? It's the basics. It's what we made of. We are water. You know what I'm saying? We
So
are
now,
water.
water. Okay, so let me just throw this. So can I substitute water with apple juice?
Okay, that's a no. That's a no. And also, let me say this: when we add things to water, it ain't water no more. Right? So,
Yeah.
when we add things to water, it ain't water no more. When we put that mio, when we put that flavor and stuff in our water, we not drinking water. We are not. We are not hydrating. Drinking Gatorade and Mio, and that's not hydration. When we putting stuff in our water, because we got to get our water in, but we squirting flavor in it, it ain't water no more. So now our body has to try to clean that out. You know what I mean? And so yeah, that ain't
Make
water.
it plain, cuz. Make it plain. That's good, man. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Because I've had people to argue with me that you can drink juice because juice has water in it. So they would, uh, yeah, that's good information. Good information. I've heard going back to what you was talking about tap water and this and that. I heard I don't know if you heard of Dr. Mona Harrison. Um, she's just I think she she passed away some years ago. She made a couple of lectures on alkaline water. But she even made the point that just drinking water is better than no water, right? Just drink some water. Just get the water in you, you know, and then you can do the, you know, pH is better, but just drink some water. Just get the water in you. Yeah, so I thought about her when you said that. So now my next question is, I don't know if you ever finished talking about it or if we talked about it, but how much water? Did you finish?
Okay, so
Did we talk about that already?
I'll say it again. Three quarters of a gallon is where our saturation level begins.
Three
Three
quarters
quarters of a gallon.
About right. Yeah. You. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything under that, we low. You know, we low on water. You know what I mean? So we, you know, eat. So okay. So if I'm drinking a gallon of water a day, then and three quarters is my base hydration. Three quarters of that is my base hydration. Well, then I'm only hydrated. You know what I mean? I only have a surplus of hydration of about a quarter of a gallon, right? So that's why I encourage people to aim for 2 gallons. Aim to drink 2 gallons of water.
Can you fill this up, please?
And I never drink 2 gallons of water. I never get there.
Yeah, I never either. I got to a gallon and a half, but I never ever got to 2 gallons.
Yeah. I never get to 2 gallons, but I keep trying.
Right.
You know,
right.
and
Yeah.
I keep trying, and I make sure I'm gallon and a half, like for sure every day. You know what I mean? If I'm at a gallon, I feel like I'm not good. You know, I'm like, if a whole day go by, I mean, not even 24 hours. I mean, from when I wake up to when I go to bed, and I've only drank a gallon of water, then I'm slipping. I've been tripping that day. But yeah, three quarters of a gallon right there.
And that's just real talk, because I know, people watching this will think, well, that's a lot of water. I can't drink that much water and this and that. Thank you, baby. I can't drink that much water and I get it. I think we all get that. But this thing has to be done on purpose. I mean, we've got to do this stuff on purpose. So, and for me, what I do, I don't know how you do it, Christine, but I drink, this is a liter. This is a liter of water. A liter is just over a quart. So I try to drink 4 of these, right? But that's my way of measuring. And
Yeah.
And I just try to count how much I do. But my aim is a gallon. And that's like if I can get there. But when I drink 3 of these, I can tell. Yeah. I can tell. So
Right.
Yeah, I can definitely tell and you go into the bathroom. Yeah, you go into the bathroom. But now let me ask you this. What about the color of your urine? Should it be a certain color?
It should be clear. It should be clear.
Be clear? Okay.
If it's not clear, then we're not hydrated. We're not, to use the word again, saturated. If our urine is yellow, we are not saturated. We're not hydrated adequately. We are dehydrated. if the urine is yellow, not supposed to be that color.
Not supposed to be yellow. I remember hearing the doctor say that they were talking about some older people, and somebody was saying that they can tell that whether they was healthy or not by the color of their urine. And I use the term, I've never, and me myself, I know that I have never been sick with clear urine. Never, ever had no kind of ailment and my urine was clear. So, and I would challenge anybody to take that, you know, if you can get to the point where your urine is clear, you know, or can you be sick with clear urine? You know, because the color of your urine actually, and correct me, Kriston, but the color of your urine is actually something, a lot of times it's toxins. Ain't that what you just said? Toxins? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. When it comes to colon health, another aspect, and I actually want Pepper to talk about this because he just completed like a colon cleanse, and like that's something that we can do to help ourselves, to help our bodies, to help our belly along, because we spend years, loading it up and backing ourselves up, so we've got residue, and there's things in the walls of our colon are folds like this. They're not just smooth. They're folds like this. You know what I mean? So there's all kind of things, all kind of material up in those folds, and that has to get cleaned out. But like I said, Pepper just completed a colon cleanse, and I want him to, and he knows as far a lot about natural colon cleanses too, like which foods clean the colon out and help with that. And so I just
Let me throw this in before Pepper gets started. So you said the colon is, but the colon actually, I'm thinking about information I've heard different doctors say. The colon actually, where a lot of our nutrients like are retrieved from the colon, right? So you talk about these layers. That's is getting nutrients out, right? Is that what's
out of what?
Out of the food, out of the substance in the colon? It's getting nutrients out, going into the body. Am I wording that right? Am I wording that right?
Right. Yep. That's what it's supposed to be doing.
Supposed to be doing. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. It's supposed to be. It's the colon removes water from the substance in when the waste comes into the colon removes the water from it, and that's how we get solid poop. Right. Okay. But it was liquid when it went into the colon. The colon then extracts. Like the colon is the last extraction place where it actually extracts all that water. That's why, and Pepper's the one that told me about this. Water is like an instant laxative. If I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm like, I can't go, I'm having a problem going. If I drink a bottle of water, it's like instant hydration. Like I feel it in my colon instantly, and things move better. You know what I mean? Immediately. So the colon is constantly pulling out water constantly, and so for if I'm eating food that doesn't have water in it, if I eat food that don't have water in it, it's full of sugar, no water, right? Then it's not gonna move through the colon as well because it don't have no water in it. It don't have no water for the colon to pull out of it. So it gets to the colon, and the colon is trying to pull water out of it, and it's already like tapped. So it just gets stuck there. It gets stuck until now I need to introduce I need to introduce some more hydration into my colon. You know what I'm saying? To help because this food in here don't have its own hydration. So I need to introduce some more. I need some more. So I've been eating sugar filled foods, right? And that's the problem. It is no hydration in them. So when it gets to my colon, it can't move through there, right? So I need even more hydration. If I eat a high sugar diet or high processed food diet, then I need to be drinking even more water. You know what I'm saying? I need even more water than the person who's on an alkaline diet who's getting hydration from fruits and vegetables and things like that. You understand? So there is water in juice, in natural fruit juice. But if most people aren't getting enough of that kind of water anyway. You know what I mean? Most of us
Right.
on the
Right.
standard American diet where we're eating mostly processed food. We eat fast food every day and whatnot. You know what I mean? So our food doesn't have adequate hydration in it. So for us who are not eating optimally, we need even more water because we're not getting from our food and
Okay.
whatnot.
Good stuff. Go ahead, Pep.
What? Man, say, I just now realized I wasn't on mute, man. Y'all, a 19-year-old, I got two daughters. My bad for having to talk about
I
it.
didn't hear nothing.
Man, listen, I got two daughters and they going through their woman time. You know what I'm saying? Say, I got one came in, I realized that dang, I had the thing on off of mute. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting right here just I forgot I turned the video off because she's sitting here, right in my face. You know what I'm saying? So she thought talking about a personal business. I'm like, yeah, I forgot the mic wasn't on. So I just want to take the time to, hey, what do you do? Hey, Christian, get ready for it. Now, because I was like, well, he's the only one on the line that probably hadn't gone through that yet. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But nah, man, everything you've been saying, man, I'm just, I'm sitting here getting text messages. We have things out here that are called superfoods. And these are the things that attack these things that we're talking about right now, as far as it goes. Inflammation in your gut, in your joints, in your back, in your leg, in your wherever, if we
These
start,
are superfoods.
huh?
You said these are superfoods that attack these?
Well, yeah, I was saying there are things that we have called superfoods that
Yeah.
that specifically attack those things that we're talking about as far as it goes, the inflammation, because like you were saying, that the natural way to break all of that stuff up is with leafy green foliage,
Okay.
kale, spinach, bok choy, broccoli, asparagus, all of those green things. Those the the saying is the more bitter, the better. You know,
That's gonna break what up?
like any of that gunk that's stuck on your intestinal wall. Your intestinal wall is how we absorb the nutrients and minerals that we take in.
Yeah.
So if your intestinal wall is calcified, then that means even if you're taking vitamins, they're only sitting inside some gunk on the wall.
Yeah.
So it's like it's necessary to if you can put lime in your water. The astringency of that lime will go in and scrape along that intestinal wall and start to loosen that stuff up, like break down some of that gunk and some of that bile that's undigested that we walk around. Like when you talk about that comfort level, like, oh my goodness, I'm walking around, I feel bloated. Some people, believe it or not, man, have adapted to that though, cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some people have plain and simply adapted to it, and that is their normal. That they really don't feel uncomfortable like that. They actually go get their clothes and adjust, you know. And I think, yeah, but in our society, when you're talking about just the social engineering, all the advertisement of eating food and eating this and eating, barbecues and this is this and this is this, you don't really hear about too many things. Yeah, you catch your gym and stuff like that, but the commercials and all that, but we get programmed to eat like this. Like you said, you know, and Rodney, you said something that was even more imperative. This has to be intentional and done on purpose. And you know, when you're the first one out the gate to do anything, it's the hardest. You see what I'm saying? When you start talking to people about this stuff, most of these people are gonna be like, oh, he think he know everything. Don't nobody want, don't nobody want to hear all that. Just let us eat. Give me my burger. You know, they don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? But guess what? Let one of them get sick. See, it's like you really can't talk to somebody like right now. Well, I think you are able to talk to people, but they have to, like I said, they have to want it, man. They have to want it, and it does, and it is on purpose. And guess what? That means that means I love you. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That simply means I love you. You see what I'm saying? To do this intentionally means that we all learning how to love ourselves better. You know, do we love how our bodies operate? You know, so. But yeah, I would, Kristan, go. It's on Kindle.
Okay.
Both of them right there.
Hidden messages in water. Messages from water.
You see it?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Hold on. Put it up there again, cuz. All right, I got it. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, for real. But
Appreciate that.
yeah, like I said, man, it's and if we really do all of some of our, just think, if we just went back and start just and I'm not one to just be bringing the Bible in anything that I just talk about like that, but just the Bible does specifically say what you're supposed to be,
Right.
So
Man, I wish we had more of an understanding of the correlation between our lifestyle in terms of what we're putting in our bodies, like what we're eating, what we're drinking, and the diseases that we end up developing, or being diagnosed with. You know what I'm saying? I wish we understood more the correlation, and it, we we we've lost people, you know what I mean, to like unnatural causes, you know what I mean, and it's like there's a certain sensitivity, that we want to operate in, um, but then on the other hand, it's like the reason we dying is because we keep perpetually doing the wrong thing,
Right.
and then we think um that prayer that prayer is going magically, make it all better or whatever. You know what I mean? And I know one thing Rodney was saying to me earlier was about our responsibility. Um, our responsibility as far as what's going on in our bodies. You know what I mean? How it's not, I'm not just the victim. And we understand it like this, if I come up and I test positive for HIV or AIDS, right, then it's pretty much understood that I got that that I get, unless I got that through like a blood transfusion, then I contracted that virus through my own behavior. You know what I mean? And it's understood. But when we talk about diabetes, um, arthritis, uh, cancer, Alzheimer's, heart attack, heart disease, stroke, trying to think of something else. All types of with high blood pressure, right? Blindness, you know what I mean? Hair loss, you know, all of these manifestations of um, a syndrome called um, acidosis, or an overabundance of acid, overabundance of acid in our body, um, and how this happens through a consumption of primarily acidic foods, you know, and this 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 acid builds up, damages our organs, and then eventually manifests itself in the deterioration, or what is the result, or a dysfunction of an organ through deterioration, right? And then we call it diabetes. But diabetes is pancreas dysfunction. It's a pancreas dysfunction. Is there something going on with our body's reception to insulin? Insulin is produced in the pancreas. So I've been I've been I've been making my pancreas overactive for so long due to my astronomical consumption of man-made sugar. So my pancreas has been working overtime for 30, 40 years trying to produce enough insulin to keep me from going into a coma, right? And so after all of this time, now my pancreas it's tight. You know, it's just overworked. It's pumped out. It has done a lifetime of insulin pumping in 35 years, right? And so now my pancreas is broke. Now and so the doctor tell me I got diabetes. And so instead of letting me know that my pancreas is broken and that this is how my pancreas got broken, that I broke it. I broke it because I've been putting sugar in my gas tank for 35 years. So I broke my pancreas. Right? Instead of them telling me that my pancreas is broken, and them and us making a plan to fix my pancreas, they'll just give me some needles with some insulin in them. It's like, here, now you got to inject yourself. You just gonna inject yourself with some insulin every day for the rest of your life. This is just part of your life now. And this is what a medical doctor will tell me if I go to the doctor, if I go to one with diabetes. This is what they tell me. I just have to take this for the rest of my life. No addressing my lifestyle, no 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 factoring it in whatsoever. You know, so there's no responsibility for me. There's no responsibility on my part. There's no just this runs in my family. You know what I mean? This is genetic. This is hereditary. Diabetes run in my family. All my family got sugar, got high sugar. You know,
And
so
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so the correlation we have, for the most part, no concept of the correlation between what we're putting into our bodies and what's going on in our bodies. The responsibility that we have for what is happening in our body, how responsible we are. You know, it's you know, if my teeth rot out, then it's kind of like I can understand that I let that happen. You know, I could have brushed more, I could have not ate candy. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things, it's like we can kind of understand that more. But when we talking about the deterioration of our organs through the abuse that we inflict on them, that we put them through consistently over years, over our entire lives, we don't see the correlation, you know, and so we don't understand, you know, we don't understand the responsibility.
Mm. I sure want to ask that question that I asked you at church today. That might be a little too hard for this call. We talk about responsibility. Uh, because
You mean, is it a sin?
yeah,
That question?
yeah, that's just for the sake of the audience, you know, just talking in the context of responsibility, right?
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that. What do you mean?
So me and you were talking about, you made the point that you said this is the house of God. Is that what you said? You call it a house?
Real. The real house of God.
Real house of God, right? Just making that point.
Yep.
This,
Right.
God says, you know, your bodies are the temple of the Holy Ghost, right? This is the house. This is the house of God.
Yep, this is where God lives.
It's where God lives in a living body, right?
Yep.
A body that's alive.
Right.
God don't live in a dead body. He lives in living bodies, right? So we have a responsibility. And I use the term, God loaned us these bodies, right? So we have a responsibility. So when we do things, and I was telling Christine, because I was talking about, you know, dealing with myself too. So when we do things, when we treat our bodies any kind of way, when we do things that we know that we should not do, I was using so in our conversation, we was talking about it after church, I was using the example, we were using examples like, you know, we eat whatever we want, and then get sick, and then we ask for prayer. We get prayer. We believe that God can heal us, right? And he can. But that whole thing right there, where I'm doing whatever I want to do. Matter of fact, I'm doing what God said don't do, because he told us how to eat. He told us what to do. So I'm doing things that I know I shouldn't do, but that's been overridden because I'm doing it. So, you know, when you do something over so many times, it's easier to override it, right? It's not even an issue no more. So my whole question to him was, okay, if we're doing things that are bad for us, basically, is that a sin? And I'm just making it real cut just to the chase like that, because I think that that's a legitimate question.
Man, that made me think of this. So I saw this video of this one dude singing one time, and he was singing at church, man. And he was this dude was probably like 400, 500 pounds.
Mm.
And so he this is about to get raw. I'm about to get raw. This one I'm gonna disclaimer. This one might offend somebody, but this dude was like about 400-500 pounds, and he's sitting there. He was sitting down, like dude couldn't even stand up to sing. He was sitting down and blowing. I mean, blowing. Everybody getting happy, everybody just loving it at the church, and because he can sing, this 500-pound brother, he's singing, and he, people getting happy, and they catching the spirit and all of that, right? And I'm like, I'm looking at that video, and I'm like, man, you can't be that big and be saved. That was my statement. You can't be that big and be saved, right? And that sound mean, right? But to me, it make all the sense in the world. It make all the sense in the world. It make all the sense in the world. And what you got to say? What you got to say? What you got to say? Man, what you got to say, girl? What you got to say?
Now, I remember having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Like me myself, I go ahead and give people a discount on humanity. You know what I'm saying? Based on just understanding the brain as it's being its own separate organ, it simply is able to be programmed. A lot of this is programmed. So, I give them a pass on their salvation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I give them a pass on their salvation because when you look at it, because I remember there was one thing you said to me that was very profound though in that same conversation where it wasn't as barbaric as what you just said. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like when you said that. You know what I'm saying? It was more of, I remember when you said it like, man, when I look at these people, all I see is sickness.
Yeah.
That was the crux of that conversation. So I want to put that in the context because I know that what you came out from a trainer's mouth. You see what I'm saying? But in that same breath, that was when you said, nah, man, when I look at these people and I see them and they big like this, all I'm seeing is sick people. So just think about that reality right there, because that touched me about you. I'm sitting up like, dang, like, imagine that. So you sitting somewhere, and if we think of imagine for you real quick, because I know we all saw the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Imagine when Neo was looking at the hallway and he saw nothing but zeros and ones, and he was decoding everything, right?
Yeah.
It's like you sitting there when you looking at these people, you seeing gout over here, you seeing, high cholesterol over here, clogged arteries over here, heart failure over here, diabetes over here. You're just looking at all of this sickness around. You know what I'm saying? And you want to help, you want to do something. You can't break through that wall. You want to talk to these people and get through that wall, but it's like they don't want to hear it. Like, I'm not trying to hear any of that. I'm not trying to hear any of that. And then later on, you hear, such and such, is in the hospital because, she found out that she's got to get, all this kind of surgery done because she got this kind of stuff going on. When we take a proactive role, like you said, man, I mean, everything that we saying, when you say, hey, you got to do this on purpose. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's we got to start doing a lot of stuff on purpose in order to just simply do the whole shift in the tide,
Right.
We got, and it's going to take some trailblazers to do it, people that are willing to do the work. Because right now we've gotten to a point where, we've been programmed and conditioned to a certain degree of laziness. You know,
Yeah.
when we're talking about technology, I don't remember nobody's phone number. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? You know, we're technology is beginning to sit us down. You see what I'm saying? We're sitting down too much, and we're getting complacent. You know, um, we're being taught to be complacent also. You know,
Yeah.
when we sit down and watch a TV show like Love and Marriage, right? What's that? Al Bundy show.
Mhm.
He's just go to work, come home, sit down on the couch. All he wants is a beer and to watch TV. You know,
Yeah.
not doing anything. You know, so not saying that everybody watches that show now,
Let, let, let me I want to add some context to what I said, because this is the context when I talk about when I'm talking, and I'm talking about church people specifically, and the way when the way how and when I say church people, Christians, black Christians, or Christians in general, or whatever, you know what I mean, us Americans, westernized, however we want to put it, you know what I mean. um the Okay, so when I say a person 500 pounds, when I say I looked at that person, I say this person can't be saved. I'm talking about from a churchianity mentality of, we know, because okay, Rodney asked the question, is it sin, right? Because we know what's commonly called sin, right? We know what the sins are called commonly: the smoking, the drinking, the cussing, you know, the fornicating, the clubbing, the gambling. You know what I mean? We know
Yeah.
these are things that are common knowledge as far as these things are sins. But the 500-pound brother, you know what I'm saying, can 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 be the worship leader or the pastor, right? The 500-pound brother, because as far as we know, he ain't smoking, cussing, drinking, sipping, smoking. You know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying? Because but he 500 pounds though. But we ain't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? We don't even look at that. And so I think that was more of the context when Rodney and I were talking about it. It's not looking to condemn anyone. It's not looking to put condemnation. It's more like opening our eyes to, like, yeah, we're all in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, we, what, like, yeah, you lost too. Like, we lost. We're trying to find our way to life. You know what I'm saying? To real life, not just this concept of eternal life that we hear about, but this real life that we can feel like, oh man, I really feel like I'm alive now. I really feel, I can feel my gut working. I can feel like I can breathe clearly. You know what I'm saying? I have energy. I feel life in me. You know what I mean? There's life in my blood, as opposed to French fry grease. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real. That's real rubber meeting the road. You know what I mean? And so when we talk about, when Rodney and I were talking about, okay, is it a sin to neglect our bodies? Right? It's in the context of, it's not in the context of saying, oh, you a sinner. You know what I'm saying? Like I was that day, like, oh man, this brother can't be saved. He fine. It's looking at me like, okay, yeah, I know, like, yeah, I'm trying to live. I'm trying to live. I'm talking about as a man who I'm a man. I'm trying to live holy, right? So I don't. So I'm not out here chasing hoes. I'm not out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out. I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm living my life a certain way because I want to please God, right? But I'm not even considering what I'm putting in my body. Like, that's not even a consideration as far as in me, in me living a righteous life, right? It's not even a consideration. I'm sorry,
but
what did you say?
outward life, like you saying outwardly, right?
I mean, as far as in my mind, what, like me trying to be be a man of God, right? We're not how the way we eat is not really, you know what I mean, a a factor that's considered in, you know, and I'm not talking about us specifically, I'm talking about in general, right? I'm not talking about us three specifically, I'm talking about in general. When we talk about a quote unquote man of God or minister, in Christianity anyway. Now in Islam is different, right? If you and you know you're a member of the Nation of Islam or even just traditional Islam, then there is a there's a dietary there are dietary rules. You know what I'm saying? But as far as Christianity goes, we don't like that has there's no kind of connection at all
See,
whatsoever.
see, and that is one of the problems, right? It's everything is just wide open. You know, we're so quick. You know, and one thing that Chris Down was saying at church, he was saying that we don't. I don't know if y'all said this already, but he would just make the point that we just don't put them two together. We don't put eating right and the correlation between getting sick. Like we just don't connect eating right with staying healthy, you know, like getting like not getting sick. We just don't, they are one. I mean, you know, they connect, but we don't put them together like that. And that's kind of where we kind of started from, where he was making that point. And that was a powerful point, you know. But then, you know, as far as Christianity, and that's kind of it. One of my things is, you know, I tell people I don't defend Christianity. I defend the Bible, but I don't defend Christianity because people have done Christianity is a religion. A religion is people, and people got problems. That's just it. So I don't care what religion you're gonna, you know, you're gonna be. You can say something about every religion. So I don't defend Christianity because we were enslaved under Christianity. There is no defense for that, right? There's just none. Now, I ask the question, okay, what did God do for you? What did the Bible, you know, is the Bible true? And that's a different conversation. But what we have done in Christianity is like Chris Tom was saying, everything goes. So we're not under the law. We're not bound. That's what they're bound by the law. But then again, we quote the Ten Commandments: "Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not." But then we only, it's like, my point is we pick and choose what laws we want to obey
And make up our own too.
and make up our own. So it's just wide open, right? It's just wide open. And at the end of the day, we end up being sick because we have in the, you know, like I was telling Chris Don, maybe I said some YouTube people, in the Bible, they had, in the Bible, there were dietary laws in the Bible, but we don't want to abide by them because we're not under the law, but we're sick. But we're sick.
Black folks ain't never abided under them rules, no way.
You're right. You're right. Like I was telling Chris Stein when when we came from slavery, everything. My conversation about us always comes from. So I was talking to you, Pat, because we didn't vet none of this stuff. We didn't vet nothing. We just did what the culture was doing. We were just glad to be free. We just did everything that they were doing. We didn't go in and start vetting things and seeing what should we be doing. We didn't vet none of it. We were just trying to do everything because we just wanted to be accepted into the culture because our culture was stripped, yada yada yada. But now is a time where we are being held responsible, us three, for what we know. And we can't allow things. It's just the people are dying, man. It's just, you know, but that's the problem. We don't, discipline has to be in the books. Discipline is just no way around it, man. You know, and it's not easy for me, you know, but there are a lot of things I have kicked out. A lot of things, but there's still a lot more, you know. I mean, because we got to do it on, we got to do it on purpose. But that was one of the things that Chris Don was saying. We just don't.
Right. We don't see any correlation between the two at all. I was telling Rodney about this, and I was wanting to, when I had this conversation with this guy, I was like, man, I gotta tell Pepper about this. And it's not like it's not like I want to just tell this guy's business, but I just wanted to share this conversation that I had with this one man, just because it just opened my eyes, man. Just the mentality that it highlights. So so this man tells me that well, first he starts off telling me, he was like, yeah, I was gonna go, and I was talking to him yesterday, and he was like, yeah, I was gonna go get up and go over to the prayer meeting this morning, but I didn't feel like it. I was tired, and I was like, oh, okay, well, oh yeah, you up late or something? He's like, nah, I get plenty of sleep. I go to bed early. I'm like, oh, okay. He was like, then he starts saying, yeah, I've got all kind of health issues, all kind of health problems. He says, he says, I called my mother, and I called my mother, and I was telling her how I was feeling, and she suggested that I check my blood sugar. And 'cause he was like, man, but I got, yeah, he said, this is what he said. He said, I got all these health problems, but I know God is good, man. God is good.
Mm.
He said, I called my mother to tell her how I was feeling. She suggested I check my blood sugar. He said, I checked it. He said, my blood sugar was like 400, something like that. Like it was astronomical, right? He's like, yeah, it was up there. He said, so told my mama, and she prayed. She told me to pray. And so I prayed. He said he prayed, and he said, a few hours later, I tested my blood sugar again, and it had gone down. It was like 200 now. He was like, see what God did? God healed me. See, God, right? And so I said, I said, I said our blood sugar has a correlation to do with us eating. When we eat food with sugar in it, it'll spike our blood sugar. He said, he said, I just, he said, well, I don't really eat sugar. That's what he said. I don't really eat sugar. He said, I just ate a bowl of cereal right now with no sugar on it. With no sugar on it. I said, oh, okay. Well, what kind of cereal you eat? He said, Fruity Pebbles. Yeah. So I was like, I was like, let me. I was like, I said, Fruity Pebbles. I said, yeah, no, you didn't put sugar on it. I said, Fruity Pebbles is made. It's made completely of sugar. Like it's all sugar. It's colored sugar. I said, I want to show you something. Go get that box right now and look on. There's something called a nutrition label, that it'll show you all the nutrients and the calories and the ingredients. So look how much sugar is in there. Astronomical. What did it say? It's 12 grams. Okay, and that's per serving, right? So how many grams how much is a serving? About a cup. Okay, so how many grams are in a cup? What, 16 or so, something like that. So 12 grams out of those 16 grams per serving is sugar, right? So that's sugar, right? And so it causes you eat the high sugar. It causes the spike, right? The blood sugar's high when you read it. Then I said, after, like, naturally, just over time, like, that goes down. Our body regulates that, and so yeah, so that's just how our body does. It spikes initially when we eat it, and then it regulates and it goes back down, and so that's just the chemistry of our body, right? But that's not God, though.
That
That's
wasn't a
not
miracle.
God.
What you're saying is
It
that
wasn't
wasn't
a
a miracle.
it wasn't a miracle that his blood sugar went down, right? But to him, there was no connection. There was no kind of correlation between how he was feeling, nor how high his blood sugar was reading. There was no correlation between him eating Fruity Pebbles, right, and his blood sugar reading high. There was no correlation at all, right, to him. And there was no correlation between the time that hours had passed since he had eaten those fruity pebbles and his blood sugar coming back down. To him, God had healed him. God had personally took his blood sugar down. Right? And this is how we think. This is what we know. Like this is what we know about the connection. This about our health. This is what we know about our health. Is that there is no responsibility that we have, that it has nothing to do with what we're putting in our bodies, and that whatever is wrong with us, God will heal us. God can heal us. I believe he can. And if he don't, well, I still believe he can, even if he don't. Even if he don't, which means I'm gonna keep on eating my fruity pebbles. Right. I'm gonna keep on doing this. Because even if God don't heal me and I end up dying or going into a diabetic coma, well, I still believed God all the way to the end. But I never changed nothing. I never did nothing different. I just kept believing. That's not, but
Yeah.
this is the mentality. This is real. This is a real mentality, and he's not alone
Right.
in thinking that way. You know what I mean? Like this is the mentality of the masses, is that when we pray, when we bless our food, all of that stuff that we telling God to do, oh God, oh thank you, oh curse every germ, oh I bind every pathogen that could be on this food and everything. Make it nourishing to our bodies. No, eat some nourishing food. You know what I'm saying? Like God ain't gonna make your food nourishing. You nourish yourself. But that's the stuff that we say when we pray. Make it nourishing to our bodies. Make this food give us health and strength. And we think all of that talking that we saying that over our food is going to miraculously make it nutritious for us, right? So we think that whatever we putting in our body, as long as we praying over it, it's nutritious for me. And so then when I get sick, the devil did that. That's an attack from the devil. I bind the devil in the name of Jesus, and God is gonna heal me. You know what I'm saying? Bless God. Pass me them Cheetos. Praise the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And no connection at all. You know what I'm saying? It's this term that you like to use, Pepper, called cognitive dissonance. It's just that seems like that's what that is. To me, it seems like that would apply. It seems like that may not even apply.
But
Go ahead.
all of these things that, believe it or not, like now all of those things are connected. Like Rodney, when you first crank up and you start talking about gut health and its importance, well, you understand that the that's one of the first stops that all of your food makes. You see what I'm saying? It's your gut. So if you put junk in, you'll get junk out. You know, if you walking around and you eating all of that junk and everything like that, your brain ain't working right.
Yep.
Like, yeah, guess what? Believe it or not, if we just simply adhere to a certain cultural aspect, right?
Yeah.
Seriously speaking, we're not supposed to be meat eaters. This is like not even my opinion either. This ain't my opinion. So it's just like you said. I mean, we can sit here and go back and forth talking. I don't even really I don't even just hold that to the Christians, to tell you the truth though, because I you can spread that to Americans right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like America is the most obese nation on the face of this earth. We're consumed by extremism and gluttony. You know, we live a life of excess. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, these are things that, like you said, the accountability and the responsibility, like you said, the connection. We're not connecting things, and it's going to take some real patience with people in those places, in those spots where they're saying to themselves, I eat a bowl of fruity pebbles, my sugar spiked. I prayed and God healed me. We have to be patient with those people. Like you said, beliefs are real strong because they don't require proof. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to prove my beliefs to you. You see what I'm saying? I can believe what I choose also. So for people to be taught those things like, oh no, I'm gonna believe in God because it's this and this. And I think we probably going hard on Christianity probably because that's what we know. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing that we come in contact with is
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of times, you'll get people that say that they got, that, oh well, I believe God is gonna heal me and pop a prescription pill. You see what I'm saying? Instead of blueberries or turmeric or pineapples, apples, pears, avocados. I mean, like, you know, it's like you said, I've gotten off into it too, and it took me a minute to get there. You see what I'm saying? So if it took me a minute to get there, I don't ever want to handle anybody like I just, I just, I did, like it didn't take a process, like it wasn't a process for me. See what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
me, I try to always, hey, I just share my own personal experience. You know what I mean? I know right now, I can show you footage that I went from 250.6 pounds down to 232.3 pounds. I can show you that. You see what I'm saying? And I can show you the benefits. That weight specifically came from my midsection. I didn't lose any facial weight, no chest weight, no nothing. It from my core.
Mm-hmm.
We talking about it. All of that, that undigested food that you walk around with, and especially when you get to upper ages. You see what I'm saying? When you get into your upper ages, your metabolism and your body slows down. You really have to start doing stuff on purpose. Like you have to understand that if you don't keep your engine, it's just like oil in your car. Go on ahead and go get your oil change, and then just say, I don't want to change the oil no more. See how long your engine lasts. Believe me, it'll last a long time. I was talking to my brother. I was talking to Thump the other day, and we were talking about. It was one time, man. I didn't even buy a car. I went to this little old Toach Note lot. I didn't have that much money, so, and they usually known for getting people. So I went and put a little $500 down. It was a Volvo that I got though. Never got an oil change. Whole time I had the car, never got an oil change. And we were talking about how dependable that car was because I never went and got an oil change because the Volvo needed like a special kind of oil to it or something like that. I ain't had no $160 for no oil change. You wasn't finished to get me like that, no way.
Right.
I never went and got an oil change on it. Now, I'm only saying that because that's the only car I ever was able to do that. I ain't never tried that in any other situation. And I'm only saying that to say we have to change our oil. You're not going to catch too many, one in a million situations where you got somebody that's going to live and drink and smoke. Like, what's his name? George Burns. I don't know if y'all remember him. Old white man used to smoke cigars till he died. I think that man died when he was 100 years old or something. Steady. He said he'll never stop smoking cigars until the day he dies. And he did it. I don't know how often he actually smoked. I know he smoked quite often when we saw him.
He was known for having that cigar. He was known for having that cigar. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but you only get those situations like that. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't apply to us regularly, man. So, like I said though, I think for the most part, we've learned a lot of this stuff, man. It just came from us gathering together and just there's the food. That's what we cook. That's what it is. You always got the soupy greens. We don't understand that this is not nutrition. This is not nutritious for us. The turnip green's been boiled past any type of nutritional value. Yams are sugar and buttered down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we don't know any of these things because it's good. We call it soul food. You know, we call it soul food. You know, but you miss
But even more detrimental than soul food, it's kind of like, you know, water versus no water. Man, eating soul food is better than eating fast food. You know what I'm saying? But we as a culture, bro, we eat fast food every day. Most people work outside of their home, right? And most people who work outside of their home eat out once a day, like every day at lunchtime. They're eating fast food. That's processed, highly processed. You know what I mean? And I mean that's like the soul food, the stuff that the food, the home cooking at grandma's house, or like that's better than McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? That's better than Burger King. But our lifestyle is consuming McDonald's on a daily basis. Our children growing up eating chicken nuggets and fries. I'm talking about every day. Like for some of us, and these things accumulate. You know what I mean? They accumulate and they build up. What we don't eliminate, we accumulate,
Yeah,
and
that's
then we have these these malfunctions of our organs. And another thing I was talking to the guy I was talking to yesterday in the conversation I was having yesterday was about the role medication plays, because he was saying he takes a lot of medication and things, and he was saying his doctor has found like high protein, that he had high protein in his blood, a really high level of protein. Um, and he also told me he had uh, immune system disease, like lupus, right?
mm,
Uh, and but what I was talking to him about medication, because he was like, yeah, the doctors, they don't have anything. They said that they don't have anything to help me with this high protein that I have, right? And so I was saying, well, doctors, for the most part, for most of the time we see a doctor, we're seeing something called an MD. And there's two types of doctors that we usually come in contact with, which is an MD or a DO. And a MD is a medicine doctor, or a doctor of medicine, and a DO is a doctor of osteopathy. And a osteopathic doctor is more of a holistic doctor. They're gonna look more at our lifestyle and what is the cause of what's going on in our body. An MD, however, is going to look at nothing but a medication treatment for it, a medication or surgery. Those are the only two options when we're talking about medical doctors. Um, and so if they have a medication that can do something called inhibitor block, it's an inhibitor blocker, meaning it's going to block my receptors from receiving the signal that something is wrong. So the equivalent of that would be, I take my car into the mechanic because I have my check engine light. I have all these lights on, and they just cut the wires, and then send me away. You know what I mean? So now all the lights are off. Those lights ain't on anymore, but they didn't fix any of the problems at all. And so the problems are continuing to exacerbate and compound until eventually my car is gonna die. Well, so the same thing happens with medication. Medication will block the receptors. It'll block the pain. It'll block, it'll block um my it'll block my it'll block my reading of this being in my blood, or block it'll lower my blood pressure artificially, or it'll give it a lower reading, but it hasn't addressed any of the issues. So it blocks the problem from being detected. It blocks the symptoms. So now I don't notice it. And over time, now I have to take these pills every day. And over time, now my situation has gotten worse. Now I graduate to having surgery. I get to have surgery now. And now they're going to do some kind of, it's called an invasive treatment, where they cut me open and they either pull that out, they putting something fake in there, you know. And so these are the only two things that medicine knows how to do, is either give narcotics or surgery. But when we go to a doctor, you know, and we're looking, and we tell them about something that's wrong, most of the time they're not looking at what's causing it. They're not looking at where this is coming from. They're not looking at, yeah, this organ, like me and Pepper were talking about, this organ you've been eating so much sugar all your life, your pancreas is just tapped out. Your pancreas is just not working right anymore, you know. But instead of looking at the pancreas being the problem, I'm gonna just give you more insulin. I'm gonna give you these insulin injections, and so you can add this to what your body is already doing, and yeah, it'll help lower your blood sugar. But your pancreas is gonna keep getting worse, up to the point to where, you know, we end up eventually having to operate, or getting to operate on you. Because when we get to operate on you, that's when we get to pay off our boats and our, you know, and our vacation homes. You know what I mean? That's when we get to cash in, when we get to operate. You know,
Right.
And so understanding the capitalism aspect of a doctor's job. You know, understanding that part, understanding the financial part of it, that they get kickback, they get paid from the dope that they put us on. You know, they get paid from when they get the cut on us. We don't see it, because when we have insurance, it's just like, oh yeah, the insurance is taking care of it. But these doctors are getting paid. They're getting paid from pumping this dope, and they're getting paid from cutting on people. But they getting paid to not heal people, to not cure people. That's what they're not getting paid to do, or that's what they're getting paid to not do, right? So when we talk about doctors, we're not talking about people who are looking to heal or cure. We're talking about people, for the most part, an industry for the most part, that's looking to just block a symptom, is looking to just mask a symptom, is looking to just inhibit, is looking to make it appear that the problem is no longer there, but not addressing the actual cause of it. What we're talking about right now is we are talking about the cause of disease. When we talking about colon health, man, we talking about every disease. It begins right there. If our colons are clean, then there's really nothing that can, no foreign substance, no kind of cancerous cell that can even survive in our body, because our body will be operating like a furnace. You know what I mean? Where it's like if some kind of pathogen from the environment wants to try to invade our bodies, or even if our body produces like a mutated cell or something like that, like a cancerous cell, which it happens all the time. Our bodies are always producing cancerous cells, and our bodies are always killing them. And that is one of the points of our bodies being hydrated and healthy and functioning properly, is so that they can kill off the toxic and the cancerous cells and tumors and things that our body generates on its own, just from being in this environment, you know. And so the responsibility that we have, what we talking about is preventative, is being proactive, is doing something for ourselves, doing something ourselves for ourselves. You know what I mean? Not dependent on medicine, not depending on a doctor, not even depending on Jesus. You understand? Not even depending on Jesus to to make sure I'm in good health. Like, what sense does that make? So do I depend on Jesus to make sure that my bank account is straight? Do I depend on, or do I get up and take my butt to work? You know what I'm saying? Do I get up and go? Do I work, or do I? You know what I'm saying? It's like, so. But when it comes to our health, like that's all on the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's all on the Lord. When it comes to me actually eating right, that's all. That's all on the Lord. That don't matter at all. The, the Lord Jesus fixing everything. I pray over my food. I bless my food and eat it. I bless it and eat it. Bless it and eat it. This is the kind of ignorant stuff, the ignorant things that come out of our mouth. You know what I'm saying? That is like we are getting we're getting our we're getting the results of our behavior. The consequences of our behavior is what we see. You know what I mean?
What's up, man? Facts. Facts. I'll
Right.
say this. So I had a doctor, she retired year or so ago. She was a DO.
Yeah.
But she never, like, I know what you're exactly right. You're exactly right. You said MDs and DOs, but I'm gonna make a point. I think, some doctors, so the doctor I have now, I have a black male. I found a black male doctor here in Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have a conversation with him because even though she was a DO, she was quick to dump out that medicine, the prescription. She would, I don't remember her talking to me about health and, but that's what the DO means, Doctor of Hospital,
Oh, right.
yeah. But she didn't do that. So I would just recommend anybody to, just vet them doctors anyway, make sure that they are what they're supposed to be. But like my doctor I have now, he's an MD, but I had a conversation with him and I asked him, and I'm asking him stuff, he's a young dude, he cool guy, whatever, but I'm talking to him because I need to know, okay, what do you think? If you're gonna be my doctor, I told him, I know you're the professional. I'm not trying to, but we need to be, we need to have a conversation. We need to be able to dialogue. That's just, so I'm asking him things about natural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few questions, because he just straight up told me, I asked him, I said, you basically learned allopathic medicine, right? Versus naturopathic, or they call it homeopathic, whatever. But he said, yeah, I learned allopathic. So I'm talking to him. And I got to ask him, I don't remember what all I asked him. I'm asking him all kind of questions. I'm asking, you supposed to be my doctor? I'm asked, we're going to have a conversation, which I think is cool, So anyway, I asked some questions. He just ended up telling me, he said, because a lot of stuff I was saying, he couldn't really refute. He just didn't, he was honest. He said, Rodney, I just wasn't taught that. They're taught medicine. Like Christian said, they're taught medicine and surgery, drugs, and so that's just what they're. So it's very important, to really search for a doctor who's going to go that way, because otherwise, they'll have you, it's a bad deal. And then, and then, I mean, it's an ongoing conversation. I don't want to take this out too long, but I think this is, like I was telling Christine, man, we may have to keep on doing this, But I was telling we need this information. We need this information. Whether people do it or not is a whole nother thing, But we would hope that people would. I do, but I subscribe to the whole thing that it's not up to Jesus to take care of my health. I trust God to do what I can't do, right? Yeah, I trust him. I do what I can, and I trust God to do what I can't do. But as far as what I can do, that's when I break it down and I just say it because I've landed there. I believe it is a sin to not to treat your body bad. That's where I am with it. I believe that it is a sin. According to the Bible says he that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, it's a sin. So, we don't want to look at it like that, but that's just, so anyway, but then like I was telling him, it's hard to do what you don't know. So what this stuff he's giving is just some YouTube prep. It's just some good, just some good stuff, man. So that's what.
I mean, a lot of that goes into how much do you really research? I mean, a lot of people like to call themselves intelligent and smart and everything like this. And in a day and age where information is at the tip of your finger,
yeah,
it is still so many people that just choose to listen to somebody tell them what to do. And then it'll be somebody that doesn't even have your best interest at heart. So
right.
People won't listen to a family member, but they will listen to a doctor because they went to go get taught about drugs and surgery.
That's it.
Yeah, so they went to get taught how to dope you up and sell this prescription. That's what they got taught. They got taught how to sell you a prescription. You see what I'm saying? And you gonna listen because they got a white coat on.
And a bunch of alphabets after their name.
Right.
Yeah.
And the stethoscope on.
Yeah. And I ain't got no problem with it, with education. That's another conversation.
I want to say this about the immune system. Is that begins in the gut as well. The immune system starts in the gut. If the gut is clean, then that's the best immune system. That's the best immune system that we can have is a clean gut. And a clean gut meaning that a healthy gut means that we're having multiple bowel movements a day, right? At least two. You know what I mean? Like at least two. And that's, I know that seems like a lot for a lot of people because in our society we are chronically constipated, and that's the beginning of disease. Is when we have waste backed up in our bodies, right? Unremoved waste in our bodies. Right? That's the beginning of disease. So when our colon is clean, that is the primary immune system, assistance, sign of strengthening tool is having a clean gut. I can give an example that all my life I've had allergies to grass, to cut grass, like freshly cut grass could I don't know if it was called hay fever or whatever, but hay grass, like cut dry grass like that, something like that could set off a reaction in my respiratory reaction in me that, because I also had bronchitis, right? And bronchitis is inflammation of the bronchial tube, inflammation, right? And so all of these things, the inflammation will result in an excess of mucus, right? I got too much mucus in my airways, basically. So I was eating alkaline last year in November, like for about 3 weeks straight. I was only eating nuts and berries and drinking water, and and all of the mucus left my body. And I remember coming in contact with some cut grass because they was cutting the grass around here. And I mean, no reaction, no itch, no kind of nothing.
Wow.
And I was maintaining, and this was around when COVID was kind of first hitting around that time, around November of last year.
Yeah.
And so
second wave.
Everybody in my house got sick twice. Everybody in my house got sick twice. I didn't get not any kind of inkling. So I want to be quick with this. I'm sorry. A clean gut, because that's not the only thing. A clean gut, adequate sleep, getting enough sleep, and I'm talking about immune system boosters. Clean gut, getting enough sleep. Of course, we already said hydration. Clean gut, exercise. And when I say exercise, I'm not talking about strenuous working out. I'm talking about just moving. I'm talking about just moving. You know, this stuff that we used to do. You know, this stuff that we do that we used to do before we run, that preparation stuff, that stuff we would do to prepare ourselves for strenuous activity. We don't even do that anymore. Just doing this kind of stuff, just raising our arms up over our head in the morning, stretching, you know, like that. This is exercise, right? And this helps get our body in alignment. It helps get our body in alignment, which helps our organs to function better. It helps our glands to secrete the fluids that they're supposed to be excreting. Our hormones. It helps us to get more balanced hormonally, right? Being alignment, moving, not being in a sitting posture where we're sitting, where our weight is actually all of our body weight when we're sitting is resting on our spine. If we have a sedentary job, and a lot of us live sedentary lives where we sit at a desk all day, if we would stand while we're at our desk and just elevate our keyboard, you know, elevate our computer. Some of the workplaces, the call centers I've been in have those kind of accommodations at the desk where you can stand up and even elevate it. But if there's not that accommodation, then we can still stack some books there, you know, and elevate it. But just the simple act of standing instead of lying down, instead of lying in bed, to stand up, but just stand up next to your bed, right? To stand next to it, right? You don't have to walk. You don't have to walk and go anywhere, right? Anywhere where you feel like, you know, your legs might give out or anything like that, or you don't know if you can make it back here, but just stand next to your bed, you know, for as much as you can, as long as you can. Stand there, and then when you feel like you need to sit down, you right there next to your bed. Sit right back down on your bed. You know, but that little change in a lifestyle from sitting down all day, or, you know, to standing up. Most of us are at work more than we're at home, you know, and so we're at our desk, you know, 8 hours a day, you know. That's our lifestyle. You know what I mean? That's my lifestyle. I may go to the gym every day. I may work out every day for about 1 to 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? But for 8 hours a day, I'm sitting down at my desk. Right? So that's what my lifestyle is. I'm fighting when I go to the gym. I'm fighting against what I'm actually doing in my life. And not only am I sitting down at my desk, I'm sitting down in my car on my way to sit down at my desk. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm sitting, and then when I'm on my way home, I'm sitting down. And then when I get home, I can't wait to sit down on my couch. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so this is my lifestyle, sitting down, you know, but the moving, just movement is medicine. And that's a key to a strong immune system. Move.
You said movement is medicine. Movement is medicine. Good stuff, man. Just good stuff. I think we'll wrap it up with that right there. This has been medicine for me. Just good stuff. Good stuff. So love both of y'all, Kriston and Pep, and
Love you, cuz.
we gonna keep on going, man. And until next time, love y'all.
Love you too.
Salute to both of you. Thank y'all for everything, man, and just shalom.
Peace.
Shalom. Peace.
Peace. Love you, family.
Love y'all. Peace.